The funeral and the promise. The sky was dark purple. Two suns hid behind the clouds. A soft wind blew over the field, filled with strange glowing flowers. The grave stood alone in the middle, marked by a smooth black stone. It was quiet. Too quiet. Eli stood there wearing his old military coat. His hands shook as he held a small silver box. His eyes were red. He hadn't slept for 2 days. Not since the message came. Not since they told him she was gone. Her name was Lyra, his wife. His world. He looked at the grave and whispered, "I'm sorry." There was no reply, only silence and the low hum of alien insects. He knelt down slowly. His knees touched the soft ground. "I should have been there," he said. "You told me not to follow. You said it was too dangerous. And I listened." His voice cracked. "I thought we had more time." Lyra had gone on a peace mission between humans and the Zyreel, a proud alien race. She was part of the Unity Corps, trained in languages, diplomacy, and science. She believed in peace always, even when others gave up. But the mission went wrong. The last message Eli got was her voice, scared but calm. "If anything happens, please remember, I did this for both of us." That was 6 months ago. Today was her official funeral. Eli opened the silver box. Inside was her memory stone, a round blue crystal that held images and sounds. He placed it on the grave. A soft glow lit up. A recording started, silent for a moment, then her voice came. "Hi, love. If you're seeing this, then I didn't make it home." Eli closed his eyes as her voice wrapped around him like a ghost hug. "I don't want you to cry." "Well, not too much," she said, laughing a little. "You cry ugly, remember?" He chuckled, a sad sound. "I hope the stars are still beautiful," she continued. "I hope you still eat too much chocolate, and I hope you don't forget to feed the cat." "You always forget to feed the cat." Eli looked down. "The cat misses you too," he whispered. The recording ended with her saying, "Goodbye, my love. I'll be waiting somewhere out there." The memory stone dimmed. Eli placed a hand on the grave. "I'll finish what you started, Lyra. I'll continue the mission. For peace. For you." He stood up, his legs weak, but his heart stronger. He turned to walk away. Then it happened. A hand, warm and gentle, touched his shoulder from behind. Eli froze. His mind screamed, "No, it's impossible." Slowly, he turned around. She stood there. Lyra. Same green eyes, same soft silver hair, same face he kissed every night before sleep. "Lyra?" he whispered, voice shaking. "Is that you?" She looked confused. Tired. Pale. But real. Alive. "Eli?" she said. Where am I?" He stepped back. "No. You're dead. I buried you." She looked down at her own hands, then at the grave. Her eyes widened. "Is that me?" "What is this?" he asked. "Some kind of trick? A clone? A dream?" "I don't know," she whispered. "Last thing I remember, I was in a ship. There was a flash of light, then nothing." Eli's breath was short. "Lyra, you've been gone for 6 months." Her eyes filled with tears. 6 months? He nodded. "I watched you die. They sent your body. There was a scan. It was confirmed." She touched her own chest. Her heartbeat was real. Her skin was warm. She blinked and touched his face. "I don't understand. I feel real." He grabbed her hand, held it tight. "You feel real too." But the world around them felt strange, like time had stopped for a second. She looked at her own grave again. Why would they lie? Or maybe they didn't lie, Eli said, slowly. "Maybe you weren't really dead." Before she could answer, a sound came from the trees behind them, A low, mechanical hum. Lights blinked through the leaves. Someone, or something, was watching. Eli stepped in front of her, protective. "We need to get out of here." Lyra nodded, still shocked. "Where do we go?" He looked at her, heart racing, mind full of questions. But one thing was clear. Whatever brought her back wasn't done with them yet. Not a Ghost Ellie held Lyra's hand tightly as the strange lights grew brighter behind the trees. The soft humming turned into a low mechanical growl, like a beast breathing through metal lungs. His heart beat faster. Something was coming, and it wasn't friendly. Lyra stumbled, still weak. "Eli, I don't understand. I was dead. I remember pain, cold, and then nothing. Now I'm here. Don't talk," he whispered. "We need to move. Now." They ran. Through tall grass, past glowing alien flowers that closed as they passed. The funeral site disappeared behind them, swallowed by fog and sound. Eli guided her down a narrow hill and into the cover of thick alien trees, their bark glowing faintly blue. He stopped to listen. The hum was still there, closer now, following. He leaned her gently against a tree. "Rest. Just for a second." Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. "That was a drone." "A Zyreal tracker drone," he said. "Military grade. But I'm not with them anymore. They said I died during the talks. That they sent my body back to Earth." Eli stared at her. "They sent a body, Lyra, but maybe not yours." Lyra's face turned pale. "You mean they lied? Or they cloned you," he said slowly, voice tight. "Maybe this isn't even real. Maybe I'm going mad. You died, Lyra. I saw the data. I saw the body. They confirmed everything. The DNA match. The trauma wounds. I don't know what's happening," she whispered. "But I feel different." He studied her closely. She was real. Her skin, her voice, her heartbeat. But something was off. Not wrong. Just different. A faint shimmer on her skin in certain light. A tiny delay in her speech, like a signal catching up. "Tell me something only you would know," he said suddenly. She blinked. "Your secret hiding spot, under the old Earth flag in your locker. You kept chocolate there during your military exams. You gave me the first piece after we kissed behind the control tower." He felt a stab of memory so sharp it made his knees weak. It was her, or something close. But how? Then, footsteps, not human. Six-legged, heavy, coming fast. Eli pulled out the plasma pistol from his coat. "We're not safe here," Lyra looked up at the trees. "There's a cliff up ahead. If we climb, maybe we can lose them." Together, they pushed forward, climbing the uneven hill as the sound of the hunters followed. At the top they saw it. A transport ship, their old Unity Corps scout ship half buried in the dirt, overgrown with alien vines. Its engine's dead, but the hull still intact. "I thought this was destroyed," Lyra gasped. "They told us it exploded on the return trip," Eli said, confused. She walked closer, her hands shaking. "This is my ship. I remember this scratch." She ran her fingers over a dent in the hull. Eli's eyes narrowed. "Then this is where you disappeared." They stepped inside. The lights flickered weakly. The air smelled of dust and oil. But then, a sound. A faint beep. A stasis pod. Still sealed. Inside. A body. Her body. Lyra stared through the glass. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Inside the pod, another version of her lay sleeping. Pale. Unmoving. Eli's blood ran cold. That's you." She backed away. No. No, no, no. This isn't possible." Suddenly everything made sense, and none of it did. He turned to her. "Then who are you?" Her eyes filled with fear. "I don't know." Before they could speak again, the ship's panel lit up red. Motion sensors detected movement. Outside, the drones were back, and now they were surrounding the ship. A voice crackled from the ship's long-dead comm system, robotic, cold. "Return the asset, now, or face destruction." Eli pulled her behind a panel. "Asset? Are they talking about you?" "I'm not an asset," she whispered. "I'm me. I'm Lyra." "Then why are there two of you?" A pause. And then, from somewhere deep inside her, she whispered, voice shaking, "I think I was copied." Eli stared at her. "Cloned?" "No. Something else," she said. "I feel their signal, like they're trying to pull me back." "Back? To what?" She looked into his eyes. "I think I escaped something, but I don't remember what, and they want me back." Eli took a deep breath. "Then we're not running anymore." He turned toward the control panel. "If they want you, they'll have to go through me." Outside, the ground shook, the drones deployed, red lights blinked, and inside the old broken ship, a human and a maybe clone, or something stranger, prepared to fight. The escape that never happened. The drones didn't wait. Red beams cut through the dark. The hull of the old Unity scout ship shook as metal claws dug into its sides. Eli pulled Lyra down just in time as a blast tore through the door. The heat seared the wall inches from his head. "We're out of time," he hissed. Lyra clutched his arm, her breath quick and shallow. "They want me alive. They said return the asset. That means they won't kill me." Eli looked at her sharply. "But they'll kill me. And if they take you, whatever you are now, you may never be you again." Another blast rocked the ship. A pipe burst. Steam filled the air. "Go out the back," she said. "I'll distract them. They'll follow me." "No," Eli snapped. "You just came back from the grave. I'm not losing you again." She gave him a look that broke his heart. "You never got me back, Eli. You got something else, and I don't know what I am yet." But there was no time to argue. They ran to the lower level, toward the engine bay. The back hatch was jammed with vines and age, but Eli blasted through it. Thick smoke and moonlight greeted them. They made it out, barely, but just as they reached the clearing behind the ship, Lyra stopped. She stared ahead, frozen. Her face turned pale. Eli followed her gaze. In the distance stood another figure. Same height, same build, same face. It was her, the second Lyra. Still inside the pod? No. This one was awake, alive, standing in the field like a ghost made flesh. "I told you," Lyra whispered. "I escaped something. But now, it's escaping too." The second Lyra blinked, then spoke in a strange, double-layered voice. "You shouldn't be here. I wasn't finished with you." Eli raised his gun. "What the hell is going on?" The second Lyra smiled, but her eyes didn't move. "The escape? Never happened. That's the memory we gave you. The death, the return, the pain, all part of the simulation." Lyra gasped. "Simulation? But I felt everything. I remember Earth, the war, you. You were designed to remember," the figure said calmly. "We needed to know what the humans felt, how they grieved. You were the test subject." Eli took a step back. His legs almost gave out. "What do you mean, test?" "You loved her," the second Lyra said, pointing at him. "We watched it break you. We watched you mourn. We watched you return again and again to the grave. And when you were finally ready, we gave her back, just to see what you'd do." Lyra clutched her head. "No. No, I'm real. I feel real." "You are," said the figure, "but not in the way you think." Suddenly, the drone stopped moving. The air grew still. Then the real horror began. The second Lyra began to change. Her skin shimmered, peeled, and shifted into something insect-like, metallic, alien, not Zyreal, not human, something older, smarter. You were never meant to wake up, she told Lyra. But now that you have, the others will come. Eli fired. Once. Twice. The bullets passed through her like light through water. You can't stop this, she said calmly. Then she turned to Lyra. Come back to the core. Finish the memory cycle, or watch this man die. Lyra's knees buckled. Eli grabbed her. Don't listen to her. You're not data. You're not a test. You're real to me. She looked into his eyes, tears falling. Then help me run. One last time. The two of them turned and ran again, this time away from the ship, the field, and the thing pretending to be her. As they disappeared into the forest, Lyra whispered, If I was made to make you feel pain, what happens if I choose love instead? Eli didn't answer. He just held her hand tighter. Behind them, the second Lyra smiled faintly and vanished into the shadows. But her words echoed in the wind. You can't run from memory. Not when it remembers you back. The core awakens. They ran until the trees grew too thick to pass. Eli's boots sank into soft moss, and Lyra's breaths came in ragged bursts. Behind them, the night held its breath. No drones, no voices. But that made it worse. She stopped. Chasing us, Eli said. Why? Lyra shook her head. She doesn't need to. She said the others will come. Eli turned in a slow circle. Then we need to get off this planet now. But Lyra didn't move. She was staring at a tree. Or rather, what was inside it. The bark was cracked open, like something had burst from within. Glowing blue veins pulsed inside the wood, alive, like a heartbeat. Eli stepped closer. What is that? I don't know, Lyra whispered, but her hand moved on its own, reaching out. When her fingers touched the glowing vein, the forest reacted. The ground shook. The wind howled through the leaves like it was screaming. Birds flew out in panic. Far below, deep under the soil, something old opened its eyes. Lyra dropped to her knees, clutching her head. It's speaking. No, it's singing. Eli knelt beside her. What's singing? She looked at him, eyes wide with fear and wonder. The core, the real core. This planet. It's not just a place. It's alive, and it remembers me. He helped her stand, but her legs were shaking. What? Do you mean it remembers you? I think I was grown here. Eli froze. You mean born? She shook her head slowly. No. Grown. I think this forest is part of the memory machine. Not wires and metal, but roots. Living code. Before Eli could answer, a voice echoed around them. Welcome back, subject. Lyra 9. They turned to see a stone rise from the ground, a smooth black monolith humming with energy. Symbols danced across its surface, alien but oddly familiar. Eli stepped in front of her. I don't like this. Lyra didn't blink. Neither do I, but I think I have to touch it. He grabbed her hand. Last time you touched something, the forest screamed. She gave him a small, broken smile. Then stay close, in case it screams again. She touched the stone. The world stopped. Eli wasn't in the forest anymore. He stood in a cold, silver chamber. Walls of glass held floating versions of Lyra in strange positions. Some sleeping, some screaming, some completely still. It wasn't a memory. It was a lab. And he saw himself, too. Watching from behind a glass wall, wearing a uniform he didn't recognize. Then a voice, his own voice, spoke from the memory. Begin sequence, let the human believe he lost her. Let grief shape the test. Eli stumbled back. No, that's not real. I'd never say that. Lyra turned toward him, not shocked, knowing. Your memories were part of the experiment too, she said gently. They used you. Because you were the perfect subject. Eli looked around the lab. How can this be happening? Suddenly, alarms blared. The simulation cracked, and they were back in the forest. The monolith had shattered. Lyra stood in its broken pieces, glowing with the same blue veins she saw in the tree. Eli stepped back. Lyra, what's happening to you? Her voice was calm. I think I'm waking up. From the trees came footsteps, slow, heavy. Dozens of dark figures appeared, tall, thin, wrapped in bio-armor that shimmered with symbols. Their eyes glowed blue. Each carried a long staff pulsing with power. Lyra whispered, "They're the keepers, the ones who maintain the memory systems." One of them stepped forward. It spoke with 100 voices at once. The core is broken. She has touched the seed. Protocols have failed. She must return. Eli raised his weapon. You're not taking her. The lead keeper didn't flinch. She is not yours. She never was. She is a construct of remembrance, and she must return before the breach spreads. Lyra turned to Eli, her voice shaking. If I go, I think I lose everything. Us. You. This version of me. Eli looked into her eyes. Then we fight. We find another way. But the keepers raised their staffs. The air cracked with power, and then, suddenly, the ground opened beneath them, not a sinkhole, a door. The core had awakened, and it was calling its lost daughter home. Eli grabbed her as they fell into the light, both screaming, not in fear, but in the unknown. The heart beneath the memory, they didn't fall. They floated. Eli's eyes were wide as the blinding light faded. He expected pain, rock, maybe death. But instead, they were drifting inside a tunnel of light. No walls, no floor, just motion and energy. Lyra clung to his arm. Her skin still glowed with the strange blue veins. She wasn't screaming. She was listening. What is this place? Eli asked. She looked around slowly. We're inside the planet, but not really. This is a memory stream, the core's deepest layer, the one no one was supposed to reach. Below them a city appeared, but not a normal one. It looked alien-human hybrid, giant towers made of glass and vines, floating platforms, rivers that shimmered like starlight, and people. Not all of them human, not all of them alive. Eli blinked. Is this the future? Lyra shook her head. No, this is the past. This is what Earth would have become if the project succeeded. What project? Lyra's voice was quiet. The One Mind Project, a world where memory, emotion, and people were all connected. One thought, one will, one design. He stared at her. You were part of that? She looked at her hands. I am that. Or I was meant to be. Suddenly the floating tunnel ended. They landed on a soft surface, something like moss but made of light. Before them stood a massive chamber. In its center, a beating heart, not made of flesh, made of code, light, roots, and memory shards, like spinning mirrors of time. Lyra stepped toward it. Her glow matched the pulse of the heart. Eli grabbed her hand. What happens if you touch it? She hesitated. It may rewrite me. Make me what I was supposed to be, not who I am now. He held her tighter. Then don't. But the heart called her. Not in words, but in emotions. Pain, loss, hope, curiosity, love. She stepped forward. The heart reacted. Images burst into the air. A child's face, crying. Her face. A scientist yelling, "Shut it down." Another version of Eli sitting alone, whispering. She never came back. And then, the final image, the real Lyra, lying cold on a table, a tag on her toe. Subject deceased. Memory transfer failed. Eli's breath caught. She died? Lyra fell to her knees. I'm just a copy, a ghost built from grief. I thought I was real. No, Eli said, kneeling beside her. You are real. To me. That's all that matters. But before she could answer, the heart cracked, not a small break, a deep one. From the crack came darkness, not shadows, memories gone wrong, failed subjects, broken constructs, ghosts of people who were never born. They screamed without mouths. They clawed through time, reaching for warmth, for meaning. Lyra stood up. They're trapped, like I was. The heart used them, but never let them go. The shadows turned toward her. 100 eyes opened in the dark. They began to move, fast. Eli raised his weapon, but Lyra stepped in front of him. No, I have to speak to them. Lyra, they'll kill you. They're me. She raised her hand. The glowing veins blazed brighter. Her voice rang through the chamber. I remember you. The shadows stopped. I remember your names, your pain. I'm not the first, but I'll be the last. The heart pulsed faster, louder, and then it stopped. A silence so deep it hurt. The shadows vanished. The chamber faded, and the two of them stood in total darkness. Then a voice, calm, robotic yet somehow afraid, echoed from nowhere. Unauthorized. Core reset. User Lyra 9 has breached boundary layer. Safety protocol compromised. Another voice joined. This one human. Male. Familiar. Override accepted. Preparing direct interface. Welcome back, Commander Elian Mar. Eli frowned. Who the hell is Elian Mar? Lyra turned to him, eyes wide. That's you, that's your real name. Suddenly the darkness around them turned into walls. Metal. Real. They were standing in a giant control room. Machines humming. Monitors flashing. Dozens of pods filled the space, each holding someone inside. Sleeping. Or trapped. Lyra walked to the nearest one. Inside was another Eli. Her voice broke. This is the real you. You were in the system all along. Eli stared at the man in the pod. Then who am I? Before Lyra could answer, alarms blared again. A metal door opened across the room, and from it walked someone they thought was dead. Dr. Soren, the woman who once hunted them in the forest. Only now, she wasn't angry. She smiled. Welcome home. You broke through faster than I expected. Lyra's fists clenched. This isn't our home. Dr. Soren's eyes gleamed. It is now, and if you don't plug back in, everything you love will burn. The war of realities. Eli didn't blink. The woman standing in front of him, Dr. Soren, had died in his arms. He had buried her, lit the fire, and watched the flames take her body. And now, she was smiling. Impossible, he whispered. Dr. Soren walked forward, hands behind her back. She wore a clean lab coat, no signs of death or decay. What you saw before, Eli, that wasn't me. Just a backup, a memory ghost. This, she gestured at herself. This is the original. Lyra stepped between them. You're not welcome here. Dr. Soren didn't even flinch. Neither are you. This space was never meant to be touched again. But here we are. Eli pointed at the pod with his own face inside. What is this place, really? Dr. Soren gave a slow, sad smile. It's what's left of Earth's last hope. The project. Continuum. Lyra's eyes widened. I thought they shut it down. They tried, Dr. Soren said. After the collapse, after the wars, the planet was dying. So, we did what we had to. We stored the best minds, the brightest souls, and gave them a second chance. In here, in memory, in simulation. She gestured to the walls around them. This world you've lived in, Eli, it isn't real. Eli felt the ground shift under his feet. Not real. Lyra grabbed his hand. You are real. Maybe this world isn't, but you are. Dr. Soren sighed. He was real, until he was broken. Do you know how many times we ran this scenario? Over 6,000. Eli stepped forward. What scenario? You. Her. Grief. Love. Loss. The same cycle. Over and over. Hoping you'd finally reach the core and reboot the real world. But every time you chose her over truth. Eli's voice was low. Maybe that's the only thing that is true. Dr. Soren pressed a button on her wrist device. The walls changed. Now Eli and Lyra saw both worlds side by side. On one side, what they thought was real, the forest, the grave, their memories. On the other side, the real world, cities in ruins, skies black with ash, towers covered in dust and pods like his. Thousands of them. People sleeping. Waiting. If you don't reset the system now, Dr. Soren said coldly, those people die forever. There is no planet left, no air, no crops, just this system holding on. Lyra's voice trembled. And if he resets it? You both disappear. Your code now. Ghosts. Beautiful. But not alive. Eli's heart raced. He looked at Lyra. She stared back, her eyes shining with fear. But something else too. Acceptance. I was built from your grief, she said. But I made my own choices. I loved. I learned. That means I lived. Eli's hands shook. I can't lose you again. Dr. Soren stepped forward. Then let everyone else die. Be selfish. Save your ghost and bury the world. He closed his eyes. The hum of the machines. The breath of Lyra beside him. The cold truth in Dr. Soren's voice. And then, a whisper. Not from Lyra, not from Dr. Soren, from inside him. A memory, you promised, it said. You said you'd save them all, even if it cost you everything. His own voice. From another version of himself. From the real Eli Marr. Eli opened his eyes. I'll do it, he said. Dr. Soren nodded. Good. Step into the core. Lyra grabbed his arm. Wait, if you go in, you won't come back. I know. I'm not ready to say goodbye. He touched her face gently. You never have to. I'll carry you with me. She closed her eyes. He stepped forward. Dr. Soren opened the final door. The core interface glowed, brighter than anything they'd seen before. It pulsed like a star. Eli took one step, then another. Suddenly, an alarm. Lyra's eyes snapped open. The core turned red. Dr. Soren's smile vanished. What did you do? Lyra's voice was steady now. I uploaded myself into the core. Eli spun. What? She smiled. You were going to erase me. I couldn't let you do it alone. Dr. Soren ran to the console. You corrupted it. You merged with... That's forbidden. But it was too late. The core changed. It wasn't just a machine anymore. It had a heart, a memory, a soul, Lyra's soul, and it spoke. Not in sound, not in light, but in feeling. All across the pods, people began to wake up. The sky above the ruined world flickered. Clouds rolled back. Light returned. And in the middle of the chaos, Eli stood alone. The interface had vanished. The chamber was gone. He stood on grass. Real grass. The world was back. Lyra was gone. But in the wind, he heard her whisper, I'm still here. In everything. Eli looked up at the sun, and for the first time in countless simulations, he wept not for what he lost, but for what he had saved. She was the echo that saved humanity. Eli opened his eyes. The sun was warm on his face. Grass brushed his hands. He was alive. But something was missing. Lyra was gone. He remembered her last words. I'm still here. In everything. Eli stood slowly. Around him, the world was waking. Birds sang, rivers flowed. The sky was blue. Not the dark, ash-filled sky he had known in the core. He smiled sadly. She had saved them all. But now Eli was alone. Alone with memories. Alone with hope. He walked through the forest, where their journey had begun. Each tree, each stone, each whisper of the wind felt like her touch. He reached the old grave. His fingers brushed the cold stone. "Lyra," he whispered. "You gave me a second chance. You gave them all a second chance." Suddenly a faint sound caught his ear, a soft humming. It wasn't from the forest or the wind. It came from inside the grave. Eli's heart pounded. He stepped closer and saw a small device, glowing faintly under the dirt. He dug it out. It was a tiny crystal. Inside, light shimmered, like a heartbeat. A voice echoed inside his mind. Eli. It was Lyra, but not the Lyra he had known. This was something new, an echo, a part of her spirit. "I am inside the world now," the voice said. "In the air, the trees, the water. I live through them." Eli's eyes filled with tears. "But what happens now?" he asked. "You must lead," Lyra's voice answered softly. "The world needs you. We saved the planet, but the real fight begins now." Eli looked around. The world was beautiful but fragile. He remembered the Corps' warning. The project might be over, but the shadows of lost memories still lurked. The war of realities was not finished. And somewhere deep inside, he knew. The darkness could return. He clenched the crystal tightly. "We will face it," he promised. "Together." Suddenly, the forest trembled. A shadow moved between the trees. Eli raised his hand, ready to fight. From the shadows stepped a figure, not a threat, but a stranger, a woman with eyes like stars and a calm smile. "I am the Guardian," she said, "sent to protect what remains. Lyra's echo brought you back, but the balance is fragile." Eli nodded. "What must I do?" The Guardian's smile deepened. "Build. Heal. Lead humanity into a new age. But beware. There are those who will want to steal Lyra's light. They hunger for the power to rewrite reality." Eli looked at the crystal again. The weight of the world settled on his shoulders, but so did hope. Because Lyra was not truly gone. She was the echo that saved humanity. And, as long as her light lived on, so would the future.